Welcome back. So far in this show, we've seen some pretty advanced technology that could take off in the future. But in many parts of the world, it's the small things that make a difference. When the tsunami struck South Asia in December, it quickly became apparent that the region was ill-equipped to deal with a disaster of this scale. But basic technologies in small pockets of the ravaged areas suddenly became lifesavers.
This was the day the earth shook and a series of cascading waves unleashed a fury that had never been seen before. Among the territories closest to the epicenter of that great earthquake were the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, an Indian outpost thousands of kilometers from the mainland. And by sheer coincidence, even as the waves of water crashed onto land, the airwaves were filled with the sound of amateur radio operators, or hams, transmitting distress calls and passing on critical information from the disaster zone.
Very rough copy right now. I'll try you later. I'll try later when conditions change. HS0.
These are the actual audio recordings of the radio operators at work. The hams had got to the Andamans 3 weeks earlier on a travel mission, a D expedition in amateur radio lingo. The head of the expedition, Bharati Prasad, the New Delhi homemaker, has some 2 decades experience in ham radio. The earthquake and the tsunamis had downed mobile phone towers. Many established communication links were destroyed. But the hams were able to work thanks to their portable antennas and battery-operated radios. And this was not the first time they helped in an emergency. It's exactly what they prepare for at the National Institute of Amateur Radio, where an entire radio setup can be packed into a suitcase.
First 24 hours, 36 hours or 48 hours is the critical period where you can save lots of people. And that's the time when you need communication.
Rescue officials across the world acknowledge that hams are critical in helping save lives, reunite families, and coordinate numerous rescue missions.
This is Victor, uniform number 2.
But the help in the Andamans might well have not been there. For 17 years, no amateur had operated from the islands. India has long kept visitors out of many parts of the territory, citing its strategic importance and its sensitive ecology and tribal makeup. In early December, after much bureaucratic resistance, the Indian government had green-lighted the radio mission. Even before the tsunami struck, the D expedition's transmissions, under the radio call signs VU4NRO and VU4RBI, were closely monitored across the globe. For amateurs at the receiving end, the attraction of a D expedition is in being able to catch signals from each of the 335 radio territories in the world. The VU4 prefix had not been used in nearly 2 decades. Listening in and calling back were thousands upon thousands of hams who wrote in with cards like these to confirm that they had indeed received the transmissions. In turn, volunteers are now working overtime to acknowledge those reports. For hams like Bharati Prasad, the opportunity to help people in distress is a major plus in what is a very social hobby. At the other end could be anybody, a head of state, a journalist, or just a passionate hobbyist.
I like to talk, first of all, and I would love to talk to the people. I want to make more friends. For meeting people in one day, it is not possible. So if I become a radio ham, then I can talk to the people from various parts of the world.
In another part of India, a friendship across the seas kept alive by amateur radio. This is the former Portuguese territory of Goa, where Roman Catholic churches dot the countryside. It's the home of Didier de Mello, call sign VU2DM. Years ago, de Mello made friends via radio with Luis Catullo, CT1 CTZ, a 4th-generation colonial settler now a resident of Portugal. Over the years, the men have grown in their technical knowledge, exchanging notes along the way.
We radio amateurs we like to develop new things, like for example, making new antennas, making new sets, and then the friendship is that we help each other. Because this is not a commercial organization, it's purely on friendship.
The technology invented by Marconi may be more than a century old, but amateur radio has always been at the forefront of innovation. Asher Farhan is a computer scientist developing cutting-edge telecommunication software. In his spare time, he builds inexpensive ham radios that cost a few dollars a piece. Amateur radio, he says, has taught him much of what he knows about his profession.
The unwritten code of being a radio amateur is that experimenting is good, and failure is something that you face all the time. So even some of the best radio professionals are also radio amateurs.
And the professional world is also adapting the tricks of the amateur, such as transmitting photographs with radio waves or sending digital information wirelessly.
Signals are very, very clear. Very, very clear.
And with the advent of the internet have come new opportunities. Bharati Prasad says the web has extended the range of transmissions and expanded the community of users.
Thanks a lot, and see you again. 73s and namaste from India. Via to RBI over.
All the members of the Prasad family are licensed amateur radio operators.
This is VU3 DBS.
Over.
Over.
Bharati Prasad says she'd like to train and license more operators in the remotest corners of India, preparing them for any future disaster. The woman who got the nickname Angel of the Seas for her tireless work during the tsunami says with the right training, anyone could have done what she did. Ram Gopal for Global Challenges, New Delhi.
And anyone with email access can get in touch with us at global.challenges@cnn.com. I'm Relita Vasilova, and I'll see you next time.